Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Value Talk. So, आज की जो Value Talk है, it's very interesting. It's about not only about transition, it's about entrepreneurship. It's also about alternate therapy. And our guest for today, Captain Manmeet Singh, is kind of a very inspiring and different personality. And I'm really looking forward to this talk. Manmeet, are you there?
Good morning, sir. Yes, I'm very much here, sir.
Let me introduce Captain Manmeet Singh. Manmeet is a gunnery officer from Indian Army, and he has over 25 years of experience in HR. His earlier experience was with Army, ITC Hotels, HCL, Perot System, Oracle, etc., etc. And he has worked extensively in the human capital consulting with startups and SMEs in India. He has very vast consulting experience in IT sales, marketing, hospitality, construction, and he has extensive experience in turning around the companies by nurturing people within the organization. His, forte lies in preparation of job description, design of HR policies, setting up HR departments for SMEs, and designing of organization structure, etc., etc. So I think being a veteran himself and being in the HR field for over 25 years now, he is perhaps a very suitable person to be on this talk, which is regarding the transition of veterans from army to corporate sector. He has, to his credit, MBA HR from MDI Gurgaon, and he is a BA honors from Punjab University, and of course, he has done all the requisite army courses, advanced gunnery, young officer, etc., etc. Besides, this, he is also into color therapy, and we will talk about it a little later. And that is another facet of his personality. And I have seen many people who have been benefited by his therapy. And to top it all, he doesn't charge anything for this therapy, which is, it speaks volumes about him. So, Manmeet, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Sir.
So, पहले तो सब कुछ बोलने से पहले ये बताते हैं कि पहले ये पूछते हैं कि how come this HR and how come color therapy?
Again, I say I have been into HR. Again, I remember that 96 when I left. During that time, there was only a job either in administration or security. That was a job, all of us. So generally, the biggest challenge in the corporate was that all army guys, they were branded as either a security guys or the admin guys. I have my own reservations that we have done ever and ever a security job ever. Reason is very clear that the security is done at the other ranks level, not by our level. Actually, we only monitor and we pass these instructions accordingly, and obviously we oversee that because by the virtue of being there. But I think we are very, very well trained and we know our core area, and the challenge is that outside world, they do not know about it. The corporate world doesn't know about it. So that's one part of it. In my journey, it just happened that I happened to walk. I was doing my resettlement course in Delhi at the time. And at the time, it was only hotel management course or something else. And I took a plunge into that I walked up to Morris Sheraton because these are the buildings which were visible at the time. And I met the HR guy over there and I said, I am looking for a job. I'll be getting released from the army in the March 1996. He says, I'm not the guy. Why don't you meet Colonel Gundu Rao, actually from the Paras? He's in the corporate headquarters. I happened to go there. Colonel Gundu Rao actually offered me, he said, would like to have a cup of tea. That's the time I realized that I must buy some 15 minutes from him to have a cup of tea. Then over talks happened and continued. He says, Manmeet, why don't you come for an interview? I somewhere believe this journey is all about divine, actually. I was not poised. During that time, no phones, nothing actually. So it just happened. So I left it over there. The plunge first I took is that in 1996, this was the most secure job. Getting a PRC was not an issue at all. But I decided, I was very clear from day one that I want to be something different outside. Maybe there was an inner voice which was telling me that I must do something outside. So taking a plunge, actually, I took a plunge over there, and from there onwards, ITC, I joined ITC Hotels, and salary was hardly anything. Salary was just 4,200 at the time, and I was posted in Bangalore. So I came to Bangalore from there, from Morris Sheraton to Bangalore, ITC Windsor Manor, and that's where the journey started actually. So when you actually ask me how did it happen, this happened actually because maybe I was not thinking at any point of time कि wherever the divine will take me, I'll go with the flow. So I went with the flow at the time, and I think all of this happened. So one was the risk-taking ability. Now I think it's risk. But I think at that time I didn't even think about it. कि जो होगा देखा जाएगा. And when I did that, so I'm coming into spirituality angle in this. I always believe in zero. That is thumb. Nothingness. So when nothingness is there, then only things will actually happen. Then only there is a space for something to move in. So if we create all of that, trust me, everything actually starts working on that. So that's what I would like to say, that I took a plunge and I left it over there. And a lot of things started actually flowing in. You see, MDI Gurgaon, which I'm talking about, it is not the army. It is the ITC which made it happen for me. So they invested money in me. And that's where the whole journey has actually started.
I can relate to it. Yes, sometimes you have to go with the flow, and also, things happen. Sometimes some other day we'll discuss how I also joined NDA. It happened in split seconds actually. Somebody else was having the application form. He was not filling. It was the last day. I filled, and I got into army. So so yes. And as far as nothingness, again, I can put it in different way, that till the time your cup is not empty, you can't pour anything in it. Something like that. You have
Very
to.
true.
It's a kind of a learn and unlearn. However, yes, at the time when you left little this thing early. You left at that time, the social media was not there. You were not aware what is going around, and there was no way that you could have found out also. So one
Sir.
thing good you took, I think, is that you took the initiative and walked into Moray Sheraton and met people around. That itself is
Sir.
something which everyone needs to do. So we can't leave everything on luck, but yes, you
No,
keep
what
taking
I
action.
was trying to,
You keep taking action, and I
uh,
think things will happen.
I was just trying to add to it. See, what happens is today when I look at that, so just a thought which comes in my mind is like if somebody, most of us actually, I've seen with the veterans, this is my little experience, we end up making a CV which is having all facets of life. We are exposed to administration, we are exposed to security, human resources, whatnot. And believe me, if you see the first tagline, it covers all. So when it covers all, and when you go for an interview, the interview is actually confused. For which position I should hire this guy? He's a super specialist. He knows everything. And first of all, he's shit scared that this guy may actually take my chair. So my learning is that in the corporate world, all people who are sitting on the top, sorry for this, but trust me on that, they are not smarter than you guys.
Yeah, of course.
So, but when you actually go across, so don't actually, project in such a way that that guy actually feels threatened at the time. So the CV actually speaks volumes about it. So my take is that suppose I want to get into security. So I always believe, so whenever, it's not me, it's a mandate given by the organization. Like in Oracle, I must say, there are a lot of good guys around, but whenever we go for hiring, it's a mandate कि hey, we will hire only IITians, no one else. So now, discussion happened. Why only IITians? They leave after 1 year, then they want to go for higher studies. The attrition rate is very, very high. Why do we need them? The business leaders are very clear that these IITians, when they come in, they bring innovation. So the business says, so I'm talking every organization can be different. So in Oracle, it was only IITians because they will come for 1 year. In this 1 year, they'll put up the best. Innovation will be there, products will be made, and we are done with it. Perfectly fine on that. Now look at the HPS, HCL Persistence. Over there, we never wanted to hire ITMs because we couldn't afford them because it's service industry over there. So over there, we used to go to the B schools to hire those kind of guys. So in same is our case actually. That what is my specialization? When I do that, whenever I look at a CV or a mandate, I need a guy should be from IM or a guy should be from B school. He should be super specialized in a particular area. So my question comes to all of the veterans is, what is my core area which I want to do? One request to all of you. All of us have done well in life, and that's where we are. So when we talk about a second career, do we really want to make a second career and do so good, or do I need a very comfortable life and I can manage that? So a lot of people comment that I am very good in security. So security is just, I can just make it happen. So in such case, which are the key courses or which are the degrees which the MNCs they look forward actually? And my all other areas of administration and human resources or whatever exposures I have, even the courses, they should not be reflected in my CV. That's what my take is. Only security should be reflected. Suppose you're doing operations, so my CV should be reflecting only operations, nothing beyond that.
Yeah,
So in the interview, sir, yeah,
मनमीत,
please.
you have taken, अगर आपने इस तरीके से टॉक करी तो मैं तो पूछने के लिए कुछ रह ही नहीं जाएगा. But I have specific
Sir,
questions around these only. That is why I interjected actually.
go ahead, sir.
And
Please, sir. Please, sir. Sir.
I fully agree with you that on many things that what you said right now. But I have questions, targeted
Please,
questions
sir. Please.
on these, right?
Right, sir.
So,
Sir. Right, sir.
So I'll just first of all, पहले तो आपने आपकी जो CV है ना, उसमें आपने लिखा हुआ है, जो आपकी CV नहीं, जो little bit of profile you shared with me, उसमें आपने लिखा
Right,
हुआ है
sir.
turning around companies, which I know you have already done it. But could you elaborate on your experience with turning around companies and nurturing talent, and how can veterans contribute to such transformations?
I'll just talk about my journey. Okay. So when I actually, Oracle was also another journey. So in Oracle, it just happened. I was actually blessed with my daughter after 10 years of the marriage. So when it happened, I said, I don't want to work. So the way Army happened, I said on that particular day, I don't want to work with Oracle, though I had a great career. And I think no regrets. Happy life. I still play golf. I had ample of time. I could actually enjoy the great moments with my daughter. And so when I did that, the first thing which came into my mind was that, you see, whatever I've done with Oracle, the small companies, they can't afford. Typically, salaries today, right now, in Oracle as head of HR of Oracle or anyone, is in a range of 3 CR to 8 CR. That's my counterparts are drawing right now. So the question came up, what do you want to do once you have left over there? So the question came up that all these small companies, they don't have a HR in place and they can't afford you full time. That's for sure. Started approaching them. So the business model came up. Why don't we outsource as a head HR position on a retainership basis? A minuscule or a certain amount by which I will come and pitch and I will deliver to all of them. So there are a lot of construction companies which came forward. They said, make things happen. There's a company called Wellness. I used to go once a week over there. You see what happened? They only had everything on as a frame, drawing board. Thought was there. So to give a shape, it is only human resources. It's only the people around. So when I happened to be there with the Wellness at the time, I put all the policies, processes, systems in place. Once I put that in place, the next part came up. What kind of a talent we need to hire? It's the biggest challenge for any company, especially small companies. I think all of us are aware. Today also, even if you look at us, if we have to join, we'll always think only joining an MNC. We don't want to join a smaller company. To attract talent was the biggest issue. So I could make a pitch. I could actually draw talent. And when we drew a talent from actually large MNC banks, actually, because they had a lot of HNI customers. So when they got into real estate, It was a strategic decision. All these HNA customers, they had excess of money. So the company grew in next 1 year. The company grew many folds actually over there. So the right kind of hire, which we can do that, how we can make them accountable. So I put all those processes in place actually. This was with Wellness. I'm associated with a company called ICS Mobile actually. They are into SMS and email marketing. Sales is the biggest issue. Sales guys give a lot of bully throughout. Performance, you only get to know after 1 year or 2 years. But by the time company's profit has also dwindled, nothing works at the time, and then it's time to say goodbye. So from day one, we made them accountable. And today, that company, I remember when I joined them, it was 5 CR as a turnover. In a span of today, we're talking about 12th year, their turnover is 160 CR as of yesterday. So it's an association. I still continue with them. And so this is one which is there. Okay. So I'm talking about, so from an HR angle, there's a company called CSA. CSC is into, student hostels. So in student hostel, we wanted to do a research. So I could draw a talent from all the IIT guys, IIT Kanpur, IIT Chennai, various people. And the best part is we use technology over there. And I roped in one of the gentlemen, ex-SSB, Kaldarish actually, made a request to him, can you please make a test for me by which I can filter the guys actually. So out of 500 people, we could filter up to 30 people. And from 30, we hired a team of 9. And they made the difference. Those 9 guys could align with the CEO of the company. And in flat 1 year, from 8 CR to 80 CR. Valuation of the company, 200 CR. So these are things which we can, basically I'm talking about, be more innovative, what the top management wants, and how we can think differently. One more part which I want to share, yeah. When you talk about small companies like CSC, no one wanted to make a pitch with CSC. So, anyone who comes in with CSC, it's a small company, small setup, and it's a local Lala company. How do we actually transition from Lala company to the corporate company? So I suggested them, why don't we get people and create board members? So maybe with my links and everything, we made about 8 to 10 people join as board members who could bring value in sales and marketing and operations. Few army guys were there, 2-3 army guys were there who could actually add value to that. So on the website and other things, obviously the Lala company means serious business. That's why we could do it. Otherwise, it's not possible. So that was a turning point. Hanji, sir.
Right. So, very impressive, actually, Captain Manmeet. But I mean, itna kuch kiya, you have such a vast consulting background also, and you have actually seen the journey of companies from small companies and turning into 10x, growing 10x, and you have been a veteran. So, which are those transferable skills in your opinion, that can be particularly advantageous for veterans? मतलब वो कौन से skills हैं? And my subsequent question, एकदम इसके बाद तो नहीं पूछूंगा, लेकिन थोड़ी देर में पूछूंगा जरूर कि how to get into consulting business, लेकिन अभी मत आप इसका आंसर करिएगा.
So maybe I think when you ask me what are the core skills, why don't we just keep it a open-ended question also? People can ask me. I think we must engage others also. Maybe I'll be in a better position to answer. Being process-oriented, it helps a lot. And I feel we can deliver a lot. That is one part of it, which actually helped one part of it. But at the same time, as I shared with you, if we put army processes in this place, it's not going to work at all. The challenge outside is that the talent pool available over here, they are having ample of opportunities available with them. So you must have seen companies actually, really taking care of them. When I say that, they actually go out of the way to pamper them. Pampering is the right word. Whereas we guys may not like the pampering of maybe the 20-year-old kid. How come we can pamper so much to them? There is no timing actually. There is no discipline, in fact. And, at times I do think about it, but I feel innovation comes in that way. Let me put in Oracle. I remember my senior vice president HR from Singapore. She would come in the shorts actually. Shorts. I could never imagine that we can go. So I think, but that's the way the culture is all about. So one is we should be more open. This is how the world is. So be it actually. So if that can actually happen, it makes a lot of difference. One. Two, as I shared with you, processes is one of the core areas which we personally feel can really make the difference. Third, the best part I think is the all army guys. I think your relationship actually with most of the people, it actually can make the difference to the business. So this is actually, if we are able to connect with the people around, it makes a difference. One another word of caution, which I couldn't do it, but I want to share with everyone. We have a habit of what we are on ground and we project the same in the corporate world also, which means if I'm having a great time, party, if I go to the clubs, if I go to some other place, I actually don't mind actually sharing with my colleagues, talking to them in the same fashion. I feel it's not taken very nicely in the corporate world. We must have two lives, which means if you're enjoying and chilling out in the 4G circle, do not reflect that in the corporate world. That's a negative connotation. People do not like it actually. And in the bargain, I think it affects us. So I think, sir, another part when we open up the question answers na, with this particular question.
What you have said actually is जो चीजें हम अपनी डे टू डे आर्मी लाइफ में या आर्म फोर्सेस लाइफ में रियलाइज नहीं करते is we have SOP, standard operating procedures for everything. So that is something which Captain Manmeet is saying, that those processes, we have a process for almost everything in armed forces. How the weapon will be drawn, how it will be clean, how the security will be ensured, how etc. Anything, how mess will be done. So we have processes for almost everything, and that is what makes us valuable. So what Captain Manmeet Singh.
So can I just add to it? A lot of
Yes.
people, so I think just in addition to it, just a thought which is coming in. A lot of technical guys, the officers, they are doing extremely well. They are doing project management. People like it actually in the corporate world. You see, now it's a technical skill which comes up. So the project management is all about processes and delivery on time. The biggest flaw outside, there is the US client, they give you a project. The Indians are very good in delivering. There's no doubt about that. But suppose you say, ki, I will deliver it in 5 days or I'll deliver it in 7 days. Outside, what happens is on the 5th day or the 7th day, they will go and tell the client, I have delivered actually. But in these 7 days, client is shitting bricks. Reason being, he doesn't know whether the project is actually on track or not on track, or there is any challenge, any flaw, if something else is happening. So army guys, they give a regular feedback, and with this regular feedback, the client is very, very comfortable. The way we give a report, whether on a regular basis. So the time difference which is happening, which I was saying on a project management, whenever they're doing, so if the client is sitting in Europe or in US, all of our veterans who are actually at a key positions, they are able to manage the project very effectively. So that's a plus point which all of us are having.
And when Captain Manmeet is saying army guys, it's not only army, armed forces guys. That's what he.
No, armed forces, sir. When I said technical, Navy and Air Force is more technical, sir.
Yes.
Sir.
So okay.
Hanji.
So Air Force and Navy officers, naval officers should not feel that we are talking about army guys.
No, sir. But trust me, they are getting more jobs than us.
Yes,
Fact,
yes.
Very hot commodities.
So Captain Manmeet, हम बाकी तो हम क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन में कवर हो जाएगा मेरे ख्याल से, but a lot of people have a very different view of. First of all, people don't research too much. सब कुछ है आज की डेट में. If I am planning, if I know that I have to come out after 1 year, then I think I have almost access to almost every kind of information to make me better prepared for the transition. Okay, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी लोगों को नहीं पता होता है, and जो पता होता है वो it's all kind of theoretical. So What are those lesser known challenges that veterans might encounter during their transition? And how can one address them in time proactively?
I'll share my journey. Like I'll share with you, I opened up a mud resort recently in named Virsa, the Captain's Mud Retreat in Sirhind. It's actually made of mud only, everything, and 7 rooms when I made it. Now I wanted to get into the business of marketing. So whichever candidate I'm searching, whomsoever I'm interviewing, it's not that people are not available. First of all, either somebody is asking too much of money, or that they don't have too much of knowledge. By the time I actually get to know, I have already lost on time, big time. Money though is separate, but I lose out big time on the money. I means the time part of it. The first thing I decided is, can somebody teach me nuances of? So what I was saying was, so the first part I decided that I will learn the digital marketing by myself. Now, digital marketing doesn't mean that I have to deliver it by myself, but I want to know somebody should make a fool out of me. So typically on a website, what goes in, what are the keywords, how do I search, how do I do a quick audit? Basically, they're all tools actually. Tools are available, but how to make use of the tool effectively. It's not that I have to learn digital marketing every day that I do myself. We can't do it. But the guy who's going to work for you, which are the tools? Is he using the right tools or not? So if he can learn those nuances, so I did this, and I think I'm much better off right now. And I got to know how I can bring my website on the first try, or means in a search perspective. So I could guide across. Second part, when I look at that now, the world is actually changing. So Chat GPT, I'm making use of it very effectively. Now the prompts are there, how I can actually make use of Chat GPT. Now when I do that, I've already started getting into the next level. Can somebody teach me Chat GPT? Now I want to share with everyone today. All people, whenever they start, it's always a sunrise industry. Chat GPT is a totally new thing, or I would use the word AI as a new thing. If I'm able to learn 5, 6 tools or 10 tools and master that, which are those? I myself just don't know. Help me also out in that. I believe all of you guys can actually be very, very different, because I think world is really moving fast from that perspective. So when you ask me this particular question, Manmeet, I always look for that we should go for a sunrise industry. We always plan, okay, this is what I want to do. So I'm just saying, suppose whatever my passion is, I'll give you another example of that. Other day I was speaking to another naval officer, and that time I was talking to him regarding a job. So I said, what are you doing? He says, I'm into actually making that caricatures or small stuff, and I give it on the birthdays, and I create a very, very special picture of boy or a girl, or boy wants to gift it to his girlfriend or whatever it is. I said, what do you do? He said, I have only Insta account. I put certain amount on an Insta and I boost it in the US and European market. I said, then he says, I'm getting at least every day 2 to 3 orders, and he ends up delivering it. Cost of each is anywhere between $100 to $200. What I'm trying to say is, this is another aspect because he loves doing it. So he delivered into that. Same way, before leaving, whatever we are passionate about, today, what I'm saying is, the world has actually opened up with AI and everything. Learn those tools in next 1 year, which can actually make the difference. Today, I happen to go to the Aero Show, sir, in Bangalore over there. And this is another industry where all of us will be, looking forward. I am already making a pitch to a lot of companies. Hey guys, you need the doors to open up. The only defense guys can open up the doors for you. So can all of us think in a different way that can I do sales, business development, marketing? Can I be a little different? How I can be different? I think rather than thinking typically routine stuff, we have to think differently.
Incidentally, Captain Manmeet, the last two talks we have had, in one of the talks,
Sir,
I actually spoke at length about Chat GPT and how you can use it in your various kind of things, not and including your job search and interview preparations, etc., etc. And I covered it
sir,
in detail. And in our last talk, we had invited somebody senior from L&T
sir,
to talk about the sunrise industry of defense right now, because defense domain, because of the make in India and all those kind of things, movements which are going on, defense
sir,
industry is one of the sunrise industry. And we invited a senior person from L&T, and we spoke about business development, in opportunities in business development in defense domain. So which was a very well
sir,
received talk, and it was very well appreciated. And before that, also, some time back, we had conducted a talk on another sunrise industry, which is the energy one. So,
sir,
green energy, alternative energy. So, I fully, whatever you are saying, definitely resonates with us in Value Talk. So, I just wanted to
sir,
bring out this. So,
sir,
I think I will not take much time now, though I have other questions also. Before I open the question answer session, one question which has been in my mind for a very long time now uh,
sir,
is, how can we have, veterans have a knowledge about so many things? An engineer officer or an Air Force officer, or, somebody has knowledge about how to set up. Like one of my friends, he was director of AWHO. So see the amount of
right, sir,
knowledge he had, armed forces, army welfare housing organization, which
sir,
built so many apartments, more than 1,000 apartments in that particular society. So
right, sir,
we have so much of knowledge about so many various things. I may be having about IT and telecom, somebody else may be having about security. How does one start the consulting business in the domain in which he has some expertise?
sir. I the plunge by myself, but I can talk about others if it's possible. The only way is to collaborate. There was a time the veterans were only to a limited field. Today, believe me, Amazon, Flipkart, you name a stuff, I think the product companies, they are already hiring them. People are in Google, people are all over actually. Now, while they're there, they let them continue with that. But I'm sure there are other guys who want to be entrepreneurs. To be an entrepreneur, we always end up doing by myself. Maybe I will do it. Technically, you need all these aspects. You need technology also, you need sales and marketing, you need this also. If you're able to collaborate, things will work. One. Two, while we collaborate, I think all of us are, not me, but I'm saying most of the people, if they're getting drawing pension, keep a seed money. My learning is, at after such a seniority, you can't be doing your work by yourself. I feel you need lead generation, you need certain areas. A lot of tools are available which will generate leads automatically. Data is available. Okay, I'm sure a lot of naval guys and as you rightly said, technical guys, right? They can give you an answer on that, how we can dig more deeper into this and get the data, and how we can actually set up the entire ecosystem. Once it is done, I think hire those junior guys, smart guys, small team, and that's where the startup actually happens. And I think you can deliver big time. You see, the senior team is already available who can think on a strategic level. Collaboration is there. Hire few junior guys, and if you're able to get a product in place, I think sky is the limit, sir.
So I think I will not ask any more questions.
You gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work, never tell, keep your head